Hi.
Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the difference between renting and as well as buying. I guess.
Of property.
Oh yeah, renting and buying of properties. So, I guess if you are thinking of buying a property, is it sometimes you probably have that thought, especially when you just start starting in this journey of investing, let's say. I mean, I know there's a lot of pain involved when you're renting a property because you feel like there's a dead money that you're throwing away every week, and I felt the same way when I was renting at the same time at a certain stage of my life. So, I guess this is from our point of view, coming from a renter or used to be a renter, and now a property owner as well.
Yep.
So, if you guys joining us in this journey, this is based on our personal experience and what our take is. So tell me your experience first of all.
Well, I came here to study and it used to be renting, but then because our family, we have cousins coming through as well, we got three of us coming to study. So at that time, family think, well, you're paying all this money and you're not getting anything at the end, so they think it was the dead money. So they're thinking it's better off to buy it eventually, because we got three of us and we actually stay here like in and out for 10 years. So actually they bought the property, and the plan was once we're getting out and we can sell it and make a profit in 10 years.
So because they realize because there's three of you guys, and realizing it's gonna be a long term before
10 years renting.
At the very minimum is like 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. 10 years of renting, they figured, okay, then it'll be better off if you just buy it if you're going to hold it for about that long.
Yes.
Instead of paying 10 years worth of rent.
Yes. Lucky family got the
wiser
cash flow.
choice.
Yes. Cash flow and also wiser choice, because they understand about that.
Yeah. And I'm sure like most of you guys in the stage of your life, or some of you anyway, thinking of the same thing. Should I buy or should I rent? So this is from our point of view. So I'll give you like bits and pieces from our experience alone as a renter. So I come from, I guess, a lower society, socio-economic parenting. Migrated over here when I was quite young, and my parents did not have the concept of buying a property. That's not beyond their dream. That's not part of their That's not part of their thought process, let's say. But both of us decided to go buying on property because that seems to be the right thing to do in order to create wealth.
Well, and I think majority of the Australian who are wealthy, they hold, successful, and they hold a lot of real estate or properties in Australia or worldwide. So we'll see, this is one of the maybe
journey.
One of the easiest journey, we'll say, but it's not easy at all.
We thought it was easy. It's simple. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of theory that it makes it so simple. But when we try to do it in reality, it's a little bit harder than I thought it would be. There's a lot of learning curve as we go along. So
what's the difference between renting and buying?
Okay then. So the first part of it, we look at it, there's a few things in here. So number one will be the deposit. So should I talk about the rental side of it?
Yes, okay.
Okay, cool. So I'll talk about the deposit as a renter, because I'm sure if you're renting at the moment, you experience this as well. So when you're looking at a property, your deposit, it's averaging is about 6 weeks, 6 weeks rent, let's say. 4 weeks of that being bond, and then 2 weeks of that it will be your 2 weeks in advance rental. So as a whole, you only fork out about 6 weeks worth of down payment. So give you an example of it, like where we are at the current stage, at the rental market around here for a 2-bedroom, it was at $800 per week. So that means if it's $800 per week times that by 6, you're looking at about $4,800. So just under $5,000 as your hurt money or your deposit.
Then you get into that property.
And that if you can get to that particular property.
Yeah.
So versus if you're buying the same configuration, two-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, same apartment in the same area. We checked it. It's around $900,000 in this area. Well, if you have 10% deposit, that is 90%. $90,000, and plus stamp duty, which is $36,000, and then you will have total money you're paying plus the admin costs like legal or
solicitor pest control,
strata
reports, and all
so
of
let's
the
say 4,000. So total money you'll be paying is 90,000 plus stamp duty 36,000 plus 4,000 admin costs. That will be $130,000.
versus $5,000.
That is a lot.
So
Anyway, then your loan amount 900 minus 90 is 810,000 as your loan, because you're only paying 10%. Then you have to pay lender, mortgage, insurance, which is around $20,000. So all put it up on your loan, which will be $830,000, and the repayment based on that for P&I at 3.5% will be $860 per week.
So
It sounds similar to what a renter is paying, $800 and $860. But as our owner, we have to pay for our ongoing cost, like council, water, strata. So
that's the admin cost, I guess.
Yeah, approximately $200 a week. So
Yeah.
it'll add up to 60.
Yeah, $1,060. So, like I said beforehand, like a renter is forking out $5,000 or less. $800 is the rental that you'll be start paying rent on the property per week. Versus owning, you're looking at $130,000 upfront money, and about $1,000 per week, $1,060 ongoing repayment.
Yep.
So, maintenance wise, so do you want to do the rental on this time right then?
Okay.
So
Nothing.
maintenance. So
call the agent or call the owner. Something's wrong.
Like if there's something broken, then you
Oh.
just call. Like for example, with us, we have on one investment property, the awning or at the backyard or something, it was getting pretty rusty or become rotten, termite damage. You just call the owner, and then that's the owner's responsibility to fix the property, make sure that it's livable, let's say.
Yes.
So there's none on the rental, just one phone call away. Hey, water break. When I was a renter, I had a water burst on the apartment, soaked everywhere. Like my damage is just a couch, TV units, but as an owner.
And they pay you for a few days hotel today because it's not livable.
Yeah, it's not livable, so
Yeah,
I have to go somewhere. So they pay us for that relocation or something.
Yeah.
As an owner, on the other hand, they have to pay.
We've mentioned.
Yeah, the fixing up on that plumbing, and it was on the weekend, so the call out rate about to be a lot more higher. Fixing up to cleaning it up, to get the carpet clean, steam clean, or if not, you have to take out the whole entire carpet out. So yeah, there's what else is there?
Anything, water leaking, the tap leaking, the cabinet was broken.
The tap, that's it.
Exactly what our properties are doing.
So,
owners has to pay everything.
One of our property at the moment, we fix what is it, the basin,
range
the
hood.
toilet basin,
Yep.
And then the range hood, somehow it's broken in the kitchen, so they never actually contacted us.
No, it depends on the tenant. Some tenants they are alright, they can just deal with it, but some tenants like little bit they have to get it fixed.
Yeah. So the next big thing would be the growth.
Yep. Renter, they don't get much growth because they just pay to live in that area.
So
There's
this is when you're dead
growth.
money. You're dead money in a sense. So you're pretty much paying rent. You're not gaining anything.
Well, but they got a place to live in.
Yeah,
it's not that.
Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah. An owner, on the other hand, if for an example, in the same apartment that we work on, as an example, the $900,000 property, let's say in the future, the property now is worth $1 million. So that means, as the owner, if they choose to sell it, they could actually gain $100,000 profit, as an example. The other would be the leverage of that. They can refinance and get the equity out, and then they will be able to buy another property, let's say. There's a few different leverage that they can do with the growth, let's say. Contract.
For rental, you can have 6 or 12 month lease between you and the owner. Sometimes can be longer, sometimes can be shorter, right? You can move out or renewal sometimes. Price will be increased by the owner, or maybe decreased in some circumstances.
Yeah, in some suburb it might be decreased, which is good news for you guys. For the renters anyway. So, as an owner, well, there's it fluctuates. For example, our contract would be with the bank, with the mortgage. That goes for 30 years. And it fluctuates in terms of the interest rate. So, sometimes it's gonna go a little more higher, sometimes a little bit lower, depending, it's beyond your control. It's not up to you to change that. Bear with me on the aeroplane noise. We live in the city, in a high-rise apartment near the airport, so this is what you get. So, cool. Risk?
For tenant, there's not much. If you want to leave or you lose all your money, it's only that 6 weeks.
Yeah, if you damage the property, let's say, if you damage
the
property, which our tenant did that.
Yeah.
So damage the property, you look at it, you know what, it's gonna cost
the bond,
maybe more than the bond, but you can't really chase beyond the bond as an owner. Well, you could try ask for,
no luck
but at the same time, like, as if not a lot of tenants willing to pay beyond the bond.
No, we have feel like unlucky one. The damage that is more than the bond, we can't get a cover. Another one, they didn't pay the rent, the bond can't cover it, so we lose all the money. That's the risk.
That's the risk
for the owner.
For the owner.
But for tenant, there's not much risk.
Yeah, you probably get
only the upfront money, or maybe a bad reference.
If
you use the same agent.
Yeah. So, as an owner, on the other hand, well, I'm not sure if you read the news here in Sydney, Australia anyway. There's a lot of defects. Example would be Opal Tower, Mascot Tower, whereas the owner now have to pay special levy to fix the defects. Again, sorry for that noise.
It's busy time now.
Yeah, it is. A bushfire, flooding. So there's a lot of risks involved when you're owning a property or when you have investment property, let's say.
Oh, we forgot to mention you have to pay insurance, like the ongoing cost. We didn't add it on.
Yeah.
For the owner, right?
So why should you buy?
Well, historically, property price will increase. So I'm saying double, but I'll say around more than 10 years that it should be double based on history.
Historical data.
Yes.
Only if you can keep it
more
for
than
that
10
long.
years. And or if, for example, like us, a family, we don't want to move, we're going to trying to find a suburb that we want to live for the kids, and maybe once we retire as well, we don't work. We'll stay there forever for maybe 20 or 30 years.
Because we know we're in the stage of our lives where we're raising we're raising a family, and our kids now are thinking of going to school in about a year time or so, yeah? So I know for sure I want to stay in one spot, that way there's not going to be a lot of changes for the kids. So I know, so that means at the very least, what's that?
15
12,
years.
15, at least 15 to 20 years we want to stay there.
Yes, then I think it's a good idea to buy
a property. So only if you know that you're going to be staying there.
And with a big lump sum of deposit.
And if you have that big lump sum deposit, the biggest hurdle is that the big lump sum deposit.
Yes.
But on the other hand, why you're renting is like renting. If you're a renter, I'm sure you know why. But if you want to test the area as well, we were thinking of doing that at one stage.
Yeah.
We're thinking of packing up our bags and rent somewhere for about 12 months. At least test out if we like the suburb or so, and if we don't, then at the very least we can still come back to our original spot. The other one would be the instability, like if you don't have a stable work just yet, or if not for family reason.
Relocation.
Yeah.
Work.
Of course, the biggest hurdle would be the deposit.
Yeah.
If you don't have the deposit or the desire not owning a house, then don't buy a house.
Yeah.
So, what else is there?
Well, but based on our calculation, when we first started, the homeowner has to pay around $1,000 a week, but renter paying around $800. So if, as a renter, you can save up that $200 per week. You can use that money to do something else. For example, investing in something has a high return.
So,
Or as for example, if you're a business owner, you may need the cash flow, or maybe you like to invest in stocks, right? You can freeze up those money and to do something else.
because it is like as a whole, I think property is actually a slow growth, I guess.
Yes.
Slow return in a sense compared to other investment strategy out there. You know,
And it's a very big commitment because
yeah, it's a
you have
massive
to
commitment.
use
It's
at
a
least
big lump sum.
$100,000 at least.
Well, here in Sydney anyway, at the
Yes.
very minimum.
Yes.
So, who knows? Like maybe, like if you're in this particular scenario, you're paying $800, but you still have that extra $200 if you can invest it on something. Let's say that can generate 10% or more return. Some people can. Some people can. You know, their business is making 10 or 20% return a month or something.
Yeah.
But
By
yeah.
all means, do it. Yeah, freeze up your money and do something else.
Yeah, I remember speaking to a person. They wanted to buy a house, and I asked them why don't they just buy a house like a long time ago, and I realized it's like the opportunity cost. I'm using all of this cash to pump on my business because my business is actually creating a lot more return.
Yeah.
And that's what business owners actually have that in their mind, and I'm sure most of business owners rather put it on something that they know. But we know this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, everyone's knowledge is different. Just do something that you're comfortable and you understand. If you don't know it, don't do it.
so
Right.
so hopefully this guys help you guys out, the benefits of renting versus buying from our point of view.
Yeah, let us know what's your point of view. And which one do you prefer as well? Which one do you prefer?
As a whole, like previously when I was a renter, I'd rather be becoming a renter because I don't know what's the flip side as an owner. But now after having multiple properties, I'd rather have as an owner.
Well, and also the stage of our life. We have kids and
Yeah.
we're thinking to go to somewhere more green and bigger land and backyard.
Family orientated.
Yes, that's
Because
right.
yeah, this place
So
is
yeah, based on what you are, your life, your stage, and what you want. Yeah, that's not right or wrong in anything.
so. But if you do, like if you,
For
which
me?
one would you prefer? Do you prefer
Yeah, like
owner?
now is to buy, but I don't mind the idea of renting for a year to feel that suburb first to see if you like it, because sometimes when you go to the area you think you like it, but once you lived in there you may not like it. You don't
And
know.
that would be a very
Expensive
costly
if
exercise.
you bought it there. Exactly.
You bought it there and you decided you don't like it. You know, it's too far for this, for
Yeah.
school, for
Yeah.
that's. But yeah, so that's. Anyway,
That's how I feel. Let us know. Okay.
talk to you guys later.
See you
Cheers.
next time. Bye.
Bye.